Here comes the recording. Please be made aware that the recording has begun. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. This is our very first inaugural all hands meeting. This is definitely more like a some hands, but we are going to be doing these on a regular basis from here on out. How frequent, we're not 100% sure yet. I've been leaning towards like once a month. It's possible early on it might make more sense to just do this every 2 weeks, especially given that we have a lot of folks in different time zones. The next time we do this, we will be doing it at a different time slot, ideally, so that whomever had a hard time making it to this one can have an easier time making it to the next one. We've got an all hands notes meeting minutes page going under the meeting minutes database called All Hands 001. I'm going to drop a link to that in the ops channel.
I got you. I'm already doing it.
Okay, thank you. I do have a slight agenda here to plow through. I'm going to share the screen of my notes. And then we're just gonna pass the mic around a little bit. This is like, again, just our first all hands. We're really just trying to get everybody in the same room, percolate a little bit, and do this on a more regular basis so that we can hear things from folks. Eventually, we'll have a team lead every week with something to show and tell. And we will then, kind of like fall into a good cadence. The folks who we are missing here today, we're missing Sydney and Keeks, both of whom are traveling at the moment. Sydney landed an acting gig in Mexico City, so she's there until this weekend. And Keeks is currently in Lisbon, which was, he didn't expect to go when we scheduled this this slot. So he's currently in Lisbon for the Ethereum conference, and then he will be back. We are also missing Kane, our newest member of the team, who I will talk about very briefly. And are we missing it? Johan's not here. Alicia is going to be jumping back into work very soon, but is not going to make it to this call. Other than that, I do believe that's everyone. Oh, and Kari, which we'll talk about very soon, who should be able to make it to this call at some point during.
Kari's here.
Kari's here? There he is. Hell yeah. What's up, bud?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Hell yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. So it says that you're streaming. I just didn't imagine that I would also be heard. Okay, cool. Got it.
Yeah. The audio channels in Discord are indeed for everybody. We will all be speaking and hearing and seeing each other. Then we made it to Penny. Penny made it too. Yes.
Hi, Penny.
I'm sweating so much.
It's all good.
I was hijacked on my way home.
No, what? Really?
Well, I mean hijacked by work people.
Oh, okay.
Just leaving, right?
Got it. Yeah, trying to do that Irish goodbye. Yeah, I get it. So this is great. Everybody's here. Everybody who's gonna make it. I'm not gonna do a round robin first. We'll pass the mic around after I just like blast through all these things that are on the agenda, so that hopefully we can get everybody a little bit of mic time before some people have to go. So I'm just gonna talk at y'all for a minute, and if you do have questions, feel free to drop them in the agenda down below. I'm gonna go ahead and make this agenda available for everyone to edit on the team. So if you do have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, you can drop that either in the parking lot, and we'll circle right back around to it. So bingo, bango, bongo, let's get into it. We'll do the round robin in a little bit. First order of business, I'm going to be using the holoquarter way more. I have a much easier time doing brain dumps if I just speak. I'm a stream of consciousness type of person. So keep your eyes on the holoquarter, which we're going to be putting linked databases to scattered around throughout the Notion. I'm going to be using that basically as an intercom. And everybody else on the team is also welcome to use that as an intercom. Blake, for example, has been doing some really lovely tutorials of the work that Blake is doing, talking through things. That is such a lovely place to put that stuff. If you have something like Senya has done one before too, walking through a little bit of updates and work. So please feel free to use that holoquarter. That's exactly what it's there for. What I'm going to be doing is introducing everybody on the team one at a time. You'll see I did one for Kane yesterday, and I introduced Senya a couple of months ago now. We're going to be bouncing back and forth between the oldest person on the team and the newest person on the team. So I believe the next person that I will be introducing to the team, I think that the next person who's been on the team the longest if I'm not mistaken, not who I've known personally the longest, because there are a few of those as well, but I think the person who's actually been contributing to the project the next longest after Senya is Keeks, who actually isn't here. But that will be the next intro that I will be doing, and then I'll be bouncing back and forth. And hopefully, ideally, y'all feel comfortable enough to add a response, right? So would love for you, we're going to do a quick round robin towards the end here as well, but would love for you, who is being introduced, to introduce yourself in that same page in the Hollow Quarter, so that we can all start getting to know each other a little bit better, given that we are so disparately remote. Great. That's the Hollow Quarter. Introducing new members, folks who are working with us again. Fantastic. Who is the person who knows them the best? Did I put that there? Maybe, I don't know if I put that there. Maybe that was Nikki or Mel. First things first, Kari made it to this call. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Kari. Kari and I met on Twitter. Kari is a UI UXer designer, has worked on desktop, mobile, and web, and he's going to be supporting Senya, who has been working on our branding, user experience, user interface, iconography, all of those things. Senya only has basically one Beyond Day a week, so Kari is here to put their brains together and work together. I don't think they've had an opportunity to meet one another just yet, so Kari, please meet Senya. Kari, please meet, or, you know, the other way.
Hello.
Hello.
To have a better, to have a bigger 2D team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I'll also have a similar amount of time per week, but you know, together we're double.
Yeah,
So that's
together. That's it.
Let's get dangerous. So we've got Kane joining the team as of this week. Thank you so much, Nigel, for spending your social capital and extending your Rolodex to me and to this team. That really means so much to me. I cannot tell you. Kane is incredibly talented. Kane does so many things. And Kane is going to be teaching our concept art team how to turn that concept art into game art, which is a very different discipline. And then Kane's also going to be working with you, Senya, and Kari to help sort of like transpose your skills into the game space, which does have a few different sensibilities. You know, user experience and UI tends to be a part of the game in a game. Right? So there are choices that we make with respect to what the player has access to with user experience in the context of a game. So there's a lot of things to think about there that might not necessarily apply to a traditional like mobile UI UX context. Yeah, very excited about that. Kane is really phenomenal. Also only has 8 to 10 hours to put in per week, but Nigel has a phenomenal relationship with her. And, you know, if everything goes well, we would love to scale Kane up, especially once we raise this next round of funding. So after the changes that we made or that were made to the narrative team, Sydney has since stepped up into the narrative lead position. So Sydney is still currently working full time and is working with us in her off time, a few hours per day. And we have really shaken up how we are doing the writing that we are doing. We're no longer insisting that writing be done in prose. We're totally okay with just like bullets and ideas and maybe even just a couple of scripts here and there. So Sydney is actually taking all the work that we've done, finalizing all of that. We're all doing that together, and is developing approximately 25 to 30 scenes, right? Scenes/vignettes, where vignettes are prose and stories, and scenes are driven by dialogue more often than not. From those scenes, we're going to be able to determine exactly which components we're going to see in an adventure module inside of the game itself, and which components of the story we're going to be telling outside of the game via written word, cinematics, trailers, or audio stories. That's another really big one. Sydney is going to be writing scripts because Sydney's an actor, a writer, an entertainer, a consummate entertainer, a singer, a voice actor, you name it. So we're going to be doing narrative performances inside of the Discord server once we have folks coming in. We're going to have characters from the universe appear, join these channels, and there are going to be discussions, events that the audience is going to be privy to via this server that is only going to be accessed via this server. So that's very exciting. Keeks has a new job right now, so that's one of the reasons why the timing with this worked out the way that it did, with Keeks being in Lisbon right now for that gig. Keeks actually got a really phenomenal product gig at Aave. I don't know if anybody in the crypto space has seen Aave. Keeks is a product person there now. So he is really quite busy, and anything that we can do to insulate Keeks at this phase would be so remarkably helpful. He is very well versed in crypto. He is dipping his toes into the game design realm, but he is a really solid product owner. And I do need his help on that front, especially with the tech and the crypto components, the pieces that we are building internally. If we can do the best we can to insulate him over the course of the next few months, as we make our way towards the token sale, the things that he is going to be the most valuable for on this team are crypto related. So if there are things that we need from someone who's a little more senior or working on product or holding a vision, come to me, come to Mel, come to Nikki. We'll get those answers for you. So ideally we don't have to bother Keeks for them. So if at all possible, let's avoid that. And finally, in terms of changes to the team structure, I've been talking with an old friend we met on Twitter, Tay. Some of y'all have already met Tay. Taylor is a prolific developer who has come such a long way, only really entered tech at the beginning of 2018 from a retail position, and has since taught herself so many different programming languages, and has really cut her teeth doing front-end work. So Tay and Jaron are also friends, and just like Nigel and Kane, they have a very good working rapport together. They have done freelance work together. They've worked on apps and server-side applications together. So I think we're going to have a really good time bringing them both on together as a kind of little strike force, engineering strike force, where Tay is going to take over the front end, taking Sanya's designs and realizing them. And so Tay will have a kickoff Sanya will have a kickoff with Tay and make sure that everybody's on the same page on that front. Same with Yukari, since you're on that team now. And Jerome is going to be working on the crypto side and the back end side. Jerome is incredibly fast. He's had a tech outfit for most of his career. He taught himself to code in his teens, and has done work for Sephora, has done work for Apple, not retail, right? Apple corporate. He's done a lot of very close to the metal components. John will definitely be leaning on you a lot to help on that front. I know that Rust is not your fave, but it does look like we're going to be going whole hog with Solana for the time being. So any support that you can provide on the crypto front there would be huge. Jerome has written some smart contracts, but specifically for Ethereum and Solidity, he has not worked with the Solana ecosystem just yet. Moving on to big picture roadmap type stuff. Here's where we are at the moment. We are careening towards our initial deadline of November 15th to get all of the components that we need done for a token sale. It does seem unlikely that we will meet that deadline, so I have already I've already given us permission to go past that. We do have the budget to make it into January. If we cannot launch during November, I do not believe it's a good idea to try and launch during December. If we can make it for the, in my mind, if we don't make it to the 15th, if we make it to Black Friday, okay, great, let's get it live. Then we're still going to be able to take advantage of a lot of the holiday shopping season, I think. But I think if we don't make it to Black Friday, we should not try to launch during the holiday season when everybody is very distracted. If we don't make it to Black Friday, I do think that we should probably punt on the token sale itself until January, when folks are in a little bit better of a position to pay attention. Granted, that's a double-edged sword because folks are way less likely to spend money in the new year. But this is something that we should discuss across the comms team. My friend Stephanie is available to consult with us. She just started working at Apple. She's the new marketing lead for the iPhone. You might have heard of that device. So she has a lot of experience, especially with launching things around the fall. Granted, it's all hardware, but that's an important thing for us to consider as we're looking at these very important components that are left to do. What are those components? The big thing that we're all working on, the big milestone that we're all working toward right now is the 2021 key sale, right? So that's what we're talking about here. If we can't get it done for Black Friday, then we should probably punt till January. What are the components of that key sale that we need to get done? These are the very big tentpole pieces, right? we need to get a bonding curve sale done for the incredible dice that Blake did. Thank you so much, Blake. I hope you're sleeping. I have a box of dice right here next to me. Blake manufactured and created the most incredible set of 300 bespoke dice that we're going to be putting on a bonding curve, right? They are sets of 6, and we made equal parts in each of the different color treatments for the 6 types of ether. So that bonding curve sale is going to look a lot like Unisocks. If folks have not checked out Unisocks, please do. That's basically what we're going to be doing. It's unisocks.exchange. And that is one of the single most important components to everything that we're doing right now. Once we get that live, we will be able to sell NFTs that represent those dice. And then once folks want the dice themselves, they'll have to destroy the NFT to have the die sent to them. So that is a huge component of what we're doing here. The other component, the other really big component that we're doing here, and this is like not at all what I meant by that, but like, is the actual token sale and stake pool. And the way that we are going to be selling the ether keys that we've been working on, you can see what we're talking about in terms of how many are going to be minted. If you click through to that Sol NFT stake pool, I believe there is something in here. Oh no, this one fell off too, Nikki.
Yeah, I was starting, that was like part of what I was up late doing last night too, is like looking at where the epics were and then putting them back. So in progress, I'm going to finish it today.
It's all good. It's all good. Thank you for that. I could have sworn I had some stuff for this somewhere. But there is a list somewhere here in Notion. Maybe you can find that, Mel and or Nikki, and link it on that page. There's a list of how many tokens we're going to be minting. We're going to mint all of those NFTs first, and then we're going to sell them at an MSRP so that the user does not need to pay for the mint. And then once they have those tokens, we're going to be doing a stake pool that looks kind of like a battle pass. So the important components that we need to get done there are not just engineering in nature. Nigel and I have been working really hard on the upgrade system, because each card is going to be upgradable. So we need the materials, because folks are going to be earning materials for the game itself, in addition to materials or items that will boost their battle pass progress. That battle pass is going to be tied to Solana's block time. So the experience that you earn, if you've ever seen Fortnite, Magic the Gathering has it right now, Destiny has a battle pass. It's a very popular way of free-to-play games, aka games as a service, to enfranchise folks to play and earn experience. It's a representation of time spent, right? So the experience that folks will be earning, since we don't have the game done for folks to play just yet, what they're going to be earning is experience against Solana's block time. So for as long as your key is locked with the portal, you'll be earning experience. There's 100 levels. Across each of those levels, you'll earn an item. That item, some of them might be just crypto assets that you can use right now for an effect against your battle pass, and some of them might be crypto assets that you're earning for that test net and a half. That's the other really important component here, which is the, oh, thank you for that. Oh, sick. Hell yeah. Thank you, whoever put that there. The other really important component is the testnet and a half. The testnet and a half, we are going to be building our own crypto network. We don't think that it makes a lot of sense to build on Solana long-term, full-time, whole hog, right? Same goes for Ethereum. Right? We don't want to be in a position where our player base, our community, is going to be subject to politics and systems that simply have nothing to do with them. Right? The best example is on Ethereum right now. If Ethereum gets very popular, gas skyrockets, that would affect our player base, and I don't want none of that. Right? So we're going to be building our own network. That is a huge undertaking. It's going to take like a year and a half, maybe 2 years, where we're going to be in testnet mode. In the meantime, a testnet is unilaterally controlled by one entity, right? So there's no actual distribution of power happening there. What we will be doing is, since we are controlling the testnet, the assets that are minted on Solana, we're going to make our network compatible with those assets. So it's somewhere in between a testnet and a mainnet, where it's our testnet is still controlled by us, but the assets that were created in a distributed manner, right? Through the stake pool. Right, so those assets are going to be usable against our testnet and a half, where it's still centrally controlled, but you are using those crypto assets. And that is a big picture of what the roadmap looks like for the next like 2-3 months, right? If we do these things, if we get the battle pass done, if we get that stake pool up, if we get those tokens sold, if we sell out on our keys that we are making, which I think is possible, we will have raised $11.4 million, which is a very big raise for a Solana project. Most Solana projects are raising somewhere in the vicinity of $1 to $2 million. That $1 to $2 million is usually for projects that are just profile picture projects, right? Avatar projects, generated images of which there are 10,000. Right? We have far more keys because we are not a generative project, though we may be, right? We might use all of the hard work that Blake did and have some generative works where like folks can come and get an angle of the ether, right? Like maybe we move the camera. That's still very much possible in the future, but it's not what we're doing here. These keys all look the same, right? One Prax key is the same as another Prax key. The only difference is the serial number on it.
Yep. And I can create a automated function that randomizes colors, camera angles per frame, and then just render an animation in PNG format. And then you have 10,000 different images that are procedurally generated. So super easy.
Bingo, exactly right. So when we get to that point, right, that is something that I think that we can do as a variant, right? Like once we get these keys up, we don't need to worry about something generative to start, right? We just need to get those keys live. And those keys, what they're for is they get you access to the special channels in the Discord, which Mel, a note for us, we're going to need to set up Collabland or whatever the Solana version of it is. I think it exists. And that's about it, right? Like if we do our jobs, that's $11 million. And then the entire time throughout the stake pool, right? That battle pass, it's not just for the player base, right? Like they have a battle pass and so do we, right? The more people stake their keys, the more materials will be minted into our treasury, right? So we're saying we're not going to mint any more for ourselves than you tell us we need to, right? Like you tell us, right, how interested the player base is. No extra assets will be minted for us after we've minted these keys, right? We are paying to mint the keys. We are selling them at an MSRP instead of passing that cost on. Okay, moving on, and then we're going to pass the mic around. It looks like we did it. How long have I been talking for? Half an hour. Easy peasy. You all know I can talk for way longer than that. Great. So moving on from that, like I said, during all hands, what I want to do is have everybody ready to present, or not everybody, have one person ready to present something every all hands, so that we have a really good deep dive into what's happening across a given team. I thought that this week, the right thing to do would be to not just to showcase Nikki's work, because I do believe that we've all already wished Nikki well. We know that Nikki's going to be leaving us at the end of the month this month. So I thought that this would be a great opportunity to really showcase Nikki's work and highlight the sheer amount of progress and hard work that Nikki has put into the systems across our Notion workspace over the last few months. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started on that. And Nikki, feel free to jump in. I realized that we didn't like actually prep a presentation or anything, but I'm just gonna start clicking through.
You know that I'm happy to not talk about myself. So thanks.
I figured you would want me to do it anyway. So like, if you want to jump in, right? So Nikki, actually. Okay. You're good. You've gotten way less shy since you've been with us. So in that vein, Nikki actually started with us with no knowledge of Notion at all. No knowledge of the tool, basic knowledge of like Nikki's experience is largely in retail. And Nikki went from zero knowledge in Notion to training Mel to training the rest of the team really on how to use this tool. And setting everything up in such a way that we can see everything. I realize that Notion can be very unruly sometimes. It can get very messy. So I really appreciate everyone's patience in like spinning yourself up on this tool. It is free for us. You've heard me say this many times. The best tool is the one that people use. There are a few exceptions to that rule, and one of them is if it's a very expensive tool that is free, we should all learn to use it because it's a very popular tool and it's very powerful. So that's kind of where we've been these last few months, and now we are finally at a stage where like the work that Nikki's been putting in is like very easy to see, and we have some pieces here that are actually working now. The beauty of Notion is that everything can be in one central location. And referenced in dozens of different ways in the slices that you need, right? So anywhere you see this arrow here, that's a linked database that is referencing a central database that is stored somewhere where we can manage permissions across the board. So the directory started as the collab space, and Nikki took it and turned it into what is really ultimately like basically a bird's eye view, right? This is a lot of information across the organization. And the intent here is for anyone on the team to be able to like come and see a deep dive across what's happening, of what's happening across the org and what is happening kind of like today, right? There are a couple of views here. There's an index down here, down below, with it's just like even more deep dives. We're working on fleshing a lot of these things out yet, so I do apologize. Some of them are a little bit messy for sure. But starting from the top, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this because a lot of it is self-explanatory. If you do have questions, comments, something that you do want to see, please feel free to leave a note. Every single person on the team has access to, actually, I'm going to make this comment access, Nikki, because the collab zone has like kind of like grown up now. So everybody should be able to leave comments on this page. If there's anything that you need, if there's a view that you want to see, you can also highlight a piece of text and leave a comment there and say, hey, I would love a view to be able to see X, Y, or Z. Just remember that this is a shared view, right? This is a view that everybody is going to see together. If there's something that you want to see that doesn't have a place here, Nikki and Mel can help you set up your personal dashboard. And that, again, is the beauty of Notion is if there are things that you want to see that you don't have visibility over, Mel and Nikki can help you create a personal dashboard that uses a linked database that pulls in all the data that you want explicitly for your purposes without having to disturb anybody else. Right? In the same vein, one of the really big things that Nikki has been doing is working with Penny on a feature set on the bot that Penny is working on. Penny is working on, we call it Baybot, but it is going to do quite a few things. The first thing that we're having, it's a very simple sort of like hub and spoke model where Penny's building a listener, and we are building spokes of the different services. Basically, we're rebuilding If This Then That, or Zapier. Right? But we're building it really light and for our purposes. That bot is going to be really helpful along the way from a crypto perspective. It's going to be able to handle a lot of different things for us. We're starting, obviously, off-chain, no crypto, just so that we get that listener bot working. But the listener bot is going to make our lives so much easier from a logistical perspective, because right now, Mel spends a lot of time dealing with Notion's idiosyncrasies of, meeting minutes that get captured, action items that get captured from meeting minutes don't get associated to a project. They get associated to the meeting that they were captured from. So Mel is doing that work to manually attach the project that a given task is associated with, right? Ideally, a bot like what Penny is working on is able to eliminate that step where things are automatically and properly getting attached to the things that they need to be attached to. So Nikki worked on the feature set with that. Has been working closely with Penny on what that needs to support. And yeah, so the directory is here. What else, Nikki? Can you call out a couple of different things, whether it's on this page or other pages that you put together that you want folks to see? Here's another big one.
Oh, geez, you're gonna make me talk.
Just one sentence, one thing. Is like how we work is like, is this good enough to show?
I think so. Yeah, I think how we work in onboarding both are really good.
Sick.
Like if there's anything that needs updating on here, it's like small, So like
Cool.
I think they're both in a really great spot. Another like just really on the directory, like I think if you want to click through one after this, obviously you don't have to hop back and forth, but like I think showing the different views, like because there really are a lot on that page, like inside of those tables. So vibes.
That's right. Yes. Friendly reminder, everybody. Please don't forget, anytime you see a linked database, there's very likely half a dozen views in there. So if you're not seeing what you want to see, check the views and make sure that there isn't already a way to see that. Nick, this is a database that I'm working on, this roadmap database. This is a, like, as zoomed out as possible, bird's eye view. I'm going to be connecting all the different projects that we're working on for a given phase. And then this phase, this database is going to be public facing as well, right? So make sure you click through here and get a good view of what all is going on, right? Nikki put a lot of work into each of these different views to make sure that we are seeing content that is valuable for us. Notion also just added the ability to split subgroups.
So nice. Doesn't that look so good?
So
I was like
fucking
playing
good.
with it, literally like a kid with a new toy. I was like, look at all the things I can do now.
Yep. And same down here, the columns are now colored the whole way through instead of just up at the top, which for me makes a really big difference to be able to delineate what's what.
Update has been so good.
So fucking good. So good. So good. Nikki, Sanya's the same way. Like, Sanya and I have both been geeking over Notion since like January 2018, legit.
You showed it to me and I stayed up all night and I moved my entire life into it. It was like...
That's right. Yeah, literally. I showed it to you and then the same day. So you can see Nikki did a lot of work here, not just filtering the data, but changing how it's viewed, right? So that we can see things that are high priority. I'm going to go ahead and leave you to, like, you know, explore these different views, everybody.
Producer tags.
Oh, yeah, producer tags. Thank you, Nigel. Yes, so this was a really big thing here. We were having a little bit of a problem with associating projects with too many departments. Right. So we decided we're not going to assign projects to any more than one department anymore, if at all possible. And we're just going to break down these projects based and tasks for that matter. I think, did we bring those tags to tasks as well?
Yep.
Great. So projects and tasks now have a shared set of tags that are really based on the role that a project manager does, or in the context of what we're doing, it's a game producer, right? A game producer really does project and product management in addition to just like wearing a lot of other different spare hats. But we have tags here that split up a given task or project now based on not the department, right? But the perspective, right? That a producer is looking at this from to help break things down even further.
If I could add, it's also a good way to, oh bless you, to really show how many different hands need to work on one single task. So that, like, say we need to like work on something for Olu. Olu may need something narrative-wise. Olu may need something art-wise. Olu may need some voice or sound work done, and then some like game design work done on the card. Instead of having like 4 different tasks, we can have one of them and have all those things as like reference things so that we know we gotta like get those 4 different groups' input on it. Mark, are you there?
You're muted, Mark.
Thank you.
There we go.
Thank you. I just had a sneezing fit. That way, yes, exactly like Nigel said, that way we know, even if a project is being owned by a given department, right? If you know you work on code, right, and a thing for Olu needs some code, that way you can still view what's happening there, even if it is a narrative project. It's like it's narratives work on the fiction, right? It's a more likely context is art, right? If it's a project that has to do with writing Olu, you as an artist might still want to track the progress, right? We know that Olu is going to need art, right? But doesn't belong to the visuals department. That make sense?
I was going to say too, if anybody wants help setting up like a personal view, like say like if somebody does work on code and you just want a filtered view of everything that ever comes through that's tagged with code and you want help with that, I can help if anybody needs anything. Oh, I also added Notion clinics to the calendar. They're like 2 to 3 hours each. I'm going to run them like co-working, so if anybody's around to pop in, it's very casual. There's going to be, I don't remember if I did 3 or 4, but they're up.
Thank you, Nikki.
I found a really good guide by a YouTuber named Flipped Normals where he just rants about Notion for 45 minutes, and I recommend it.
Yeah, there's also Red Gregory. A lot of the folks who I used to be an ambassador with have really lovely content online. So if you are looking for more content like that, I can definitely recommend Red Gregory. I can definitely recommend Marie Poulin. There's a lot of really great content creators that make really lovely Notion content. And, I'm also here as well. Nikki, Mel, and I are all here to help you get more comfortable in Notion. Please don't hesitate to ask in the ops channel. Just ask. You're not a burden. If Notion's being a jerk to you, if you're trying to figure out why something isn't working, if it's acting up, whatever the case may be, please just let us know. Please just let us know, and we will help you feel more empowered.
Quick question. Do we have any other Notion tutorials on our main Notion? Because I know we have the Hollow Quarter, but could we add some of those video tutorials you guys are mentioning to the Hollow Quarter? Like call it Notion tutorial videos or something like that?
The Hollow Quarter is probably not the place for that, but we do have a page called Notioners that we do need to continue to populate, Nikki and Mel. So anytime you see I sent those links the other night or last night, I think it was, about formulas and stuff. Yeah, essential date functions. If we can capture those in this page, that would be spectacular. And the more that we can capture folks' questions about Notion, the problems that folks might have, and dump them in here into this FAQ, that would really go such a long way, right? This is in my mind, a subtask, a piece of onboarding, making sure that everybody who's getting onboarded has a good understanding of how this tool is intended to be used. Yeah, we do have some work to do on that front as well.
Okay, cool. Got it.
Thank you. So, so the directory, please click through here. The idea here is to be able to see what all is going on. Here's the producer tags for the tasks. We can see who it's assigned to, what their status is. This is great job, Nikki. Great job. Look at this. This is fantastic. Sorted by person. I love it. Great job. So moving on, let's take a quick look at a few of the other things that we know are ready. How we work is definitely ready for you to take a look at. Again, please feel free to comment. The goal here is to be a set of policies. It is, again, still a living document and a work in progress, but it is most definitely ready for some peer review. So we will definitely take that peer review and continue working on this. There's definitely more things to do. One of the really big ones on my mind is this article, Rituals for Hypergrowth, which you can check out. This is from one of the product managers on YouTube's team who scaled it over the last 5 years, 6 years or so. So this has been really helpful, and we're definitely trying to adapt this to how we work while cross-referencing that with how Notion works. Notion has a great set of guidelines about how they work, and I want to try and integrate some of those whenever possible. Especially things like treating each other as leaders, where everybody is empowered to start a project on something, right? If you get buy-in from your team members, that's great. A place to leave things that are important to you that need to make it into our company policies. There's down here on the right. But really quickly, the fast version of this is we use tasks and projects for everything. We peer review everything. And then once things exit peer review, they go to live into an actual database, because the workspace that we're building here is basically going to be our public facing wiki. We're going to omit some information, but we want to think about the workspace that we're making, the entire workspace, not just the page Beyond Bible. The whole workspace that we're working on here under Beyond is the Beyond Bible, right? The narrative page under areas, that's the narrative Bible for Beyond. The Sonic page is the Sonic Bible for Beyond, right? We don't need to name them separate things. Once they exit tasks and projects and we have all agreed on it, it goes to live where it is enshrined. The page gets locked. If it does get changed as it iterates, we'll see those changes. Those things also impact meetings. We're going to try and do, like I said, all hands. We're going to try and switch from weekly meetings in a given department to clinics on a given department where we have a specific thing that we're working on for that week. And then we can make team-wide meetings ad hoc based on the, not ad hoc, but like as needed based on the team lead's requirements or needs. Those clinics are going to be the team lead's responsibility to plan and maintain. If there isn't a clinic in a given week, that's totally fine. We just get together and get everybody on the same page. No problem. We do want to try and not get each other's attention for like, hey, could I have a quick call? Right? Whenever possible, we want to try and not do that. To that end, we're trying to do the co-working thing that they do, they did at YouTube, that they think of them as tag ups, where you do these, it's like a set day where like, this is a day where we all know we're available for tag ups to like get together and do one-on-one work so that we can stay in flow state otherwise. We're still working on those things, but it's definitely worth reading that article and trying your best to inject those things into how we work day to day. Policies and expectations, no golden geese, please. Like, let's not treat anybody on this team as though they are such a like high performer or that they are just so good that they can be an asshole, right? Like, that's just it just makes everybody's life worse. We're really doing the best we can to be respectful of each other's creative processes, and to be respectful of the space that we know is like a given person's arena, right? If they've spent time in that arena, have worked in that arena professionally, we should respect that to the best of our ability. So while this is a collaborative effort, it's definitely a jam session. Please be mindful about whose toes you might be stepping on. When we're setting deadlines, this is something you and me, Mel, like we did this with Johan last week, right? We were thinking about what's a realistic deadline for this copy to get it to Senya. Now we know Wednesday was not realistic, right? We did not get that done. We need to be realistic with ourselves with setting deadlines, okay? Doing things faster or doing more things in a smaller span of time does not make it better. Please just give yourself a realistic span of time to get a thing done. And in the same vein, I will never tell you that a date has to be met come hell or high water. I will talk with you and work with you to make sure that that's a realistic deadline for you to agree to, because otherwise I'm just setting you up for failure. Please keep that in mind if you're a team lead when working with the rest of the folks on the team, right? Don't set your team up for failure. Set your team up for success. Talk with the folks on your team. Ensure that that's a realistic deadline that they know that they can meet. Instead of saying, hey, here's your assignment. This is the amount of words. It needs to be done by this day. We're not going to set an expectation or a culture like that across the team. Okay. In the same vein, those types of things are very much boundaries that we are all personally responsible for maintaining. Yes, we will do our best as an organization to be clear. I will do my best to say, hey, take this on if you have bandwidth. And not but, and it's also every person's individual responsibility to express and enforce your boundaries. It is your job to say, I can't do any more this week. I can't do it for you. Your team leads can't do it for you. There's no one in that body but you. And you have to be able to advocate for yourself. So if you need help with that, that's a different story. Please ping me. Please ping Mel. Please ping Nikki. We'll sit down and we'll talk through what your needs are on that front. And we'll do everything that we can to empower you to ensure that you can express those boundaries, right? So if you have trouble with that, that is okay. I'm not saying that like, we're going to throw work at you and it's your job to say you can't do it and then we're going to be upset. Like, no, it's not like that. And at the same time, it is still every individual's responsibility to maintain their own boundaries. A couple of things. Vacation time. We don't have traditional vacation time. Just about everybody is a contractor. So if you're going to be gone, just let us know with as much notice as you can, please. It's okay. As long as the work is getting done, it's fine. Mental and physical health, sick day, like this, basically like sick days, right? Like whether you're head sick or body sick, it doesn't really matter to me or to us. Again, please just communicate. We don't have a limit on that. Again, if your work is getting done, your work is getting done. That's another thing that's really lovely about working from home. If you got to work from bed in a dark room, work from bed in a dark room, please just clearly communicate your needs. We did make one important change, and this is mandatory. If you experience a loss of a loved one, whether that's a pet, that's a human family member, whatever the case is, we have it set to 3 right now, but I think we're going to change it to 5. Take 5 days off, period. there is not, and this is true across the entire organization, there is nothing that we are working on this team that is more important than your health, than your family life, than you being okay to like if you burn out, you can't come to work the next day, right? Please take care of yourself. That means drinking water, that means eating food, that means sleeping right. If you need help with those things, that's a different story. We will happily do the best that we can to support you, but if you don't communicate that, we can't know. It's really like, you know, it's really important. Go ahead.
I was told sleep was optional.
God damn it, Blake. You don't. I'm gonna delete that from the recording. Yes.
Please delete the pod.
Yeah, get it out of here. Clip it. So we are time shifted. Everybody's working in different time zones. We really got to do the best that we can to work asynchronously. Okay, like please be like in the same way. Notifications is the next thing here. I'm very stringent with my notifications. I just got focus mode on my phone, so like if you're pinging me and it's not work mode for me, I'm really sorry. I didn't see it or hear it. I have my phone now set to when I wake up in the morning, disable all the apps that could do fuckery to me during the day, and at the end of the day, it re-enables the fuckery apps and disables Discord and Notion and all those things. So if you're pinging me after hours, I won't see it. Right? I take that upon myself to manage my notifications. Conversely, if you are mentioning someone in Discord, try to be mindful, whether it's mentioning them in Discord or leaving a comment in Notion mentioning them, right? Do the best you can to leave a comment, right? As opposed to pinging someone multiple times, whether it's across multiple pages in Notion or because something's happening in real time in the Discord. If it is urgent, we do have Mel and Nikki who can get access to me urgently. And if it is urgent, we can get access to other folks as well. So please be aware of that. Please be like understanding with your teammates about when they get back to you, right? Like we're all doing all kinds of things. Please just be patient. Get your payroll stuff in by the 10th so you get paid on time. Get your invoice in. Overtime, we don't do overtime in cash, period, for anyone. Everybody has, like, we have a very strict budget that we need to stick to. So if you are doing more than what we agreed to, we will happily make it rain in equity and tokens, but we can't do more cash comp. We can and will renegotiate at any time. This is something we added to the policy. If at any time you want to renegotiate your SOW or your agreement, please let Nikki and or Mel know, and we will set up a one-to-one with me within the next 7 days, within 3 days of Nikki and Mel hearing from you, right? And then I will get that back, like we'll sit down, we'll talk about it, we'll renegotiate, and within the week we'll either, you know, it doesn't mean that we'll say yes, it just means that like we'll sit down and renegotiate, right? Can't be denied a conversation. And of course, open door policy. Like you never have to, if you can't find me, if you need help getting a hold of me, that's fine. But like nobody has to, like, you can speak to, like, everybody should be able to speak to everybody in management or otherwise. Great job on this, Nikki. Great job on how we work. Great job on the directory. Great job on onboarding. I think like there's just a few little bits and bobs here that are still missing that I think we maybe working with Kane would be really helpful. Right? Or like basically just like seeing what Kane's needs are and integrating those into here. But Nikki, you knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much for your hard work. Is there anything else that you want me to show off really quick before I move on?
No, I'm okay.
Cool.
We can take the focus all the way off of me. That's wonderful.
Fantastic. Great. Okay, great. Moving on. So I think that's all I have. I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic around. I would love to do a very, very quick round robin, if at all possible. Oh, Kane made it. Yes. I would love to do a very, very quick round robin, just saying, hey, what you're working on. Like maybe a time zone, whatever, and something about yourself that you'd like to share. And then we will wrap this up. Who do we want to start with? I am showing, I'm going to just go in the order that I see here.
I don't mind going first, just because I have to dip in like a half an hour, if you don't mind.
Yes, please go first.
Great, thank you. Also, welcome, Kane. Glad you can make it.
Yes, welcome, Kane. Everybody, a big playproof welcome.
Yeah. Well, I will go in a little bit.
Just a quick few things from me. Me and Kane will be doing some Unity workshops and stuff for the visuals team sometime coming up to turn all your guys' like art, characters, ether stuff into game art. If anyone else on the team is interested in using Unity, please ping me in the games channel so I know to try and include you and stuff. Secondly, if you guys have not had a chance to play the card game and tabletop sim, anything like that in the last 4 to 5 months since I've been here, please ping me or Joel so we can get a tutorial of the game. We broke it down into different basically steps. So it goes from beginner 1, beginner 2, intermediate, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
Thirdly, after that, some stuff that we worked on during our first lead sync. Hold on a second. Is that in the planning section, we're working on kind of upgrading the prototype into something called a vertical slice. To kind of explain what that is in game development terms, vertical slice is it's the smallest, most viable version of the product that we can have. So in terms of our project right now, we are in the pre-production phase. We're maybe at the halfway point, probably approaching that still. And the idea is that as we develop more and more and get a clear idea of what the vision of the game will be, the vision gets smaller and smaller until we go through alpha, beta, and then we just have to ship it and live with our choices.
Oh no!
So we have a fake gem board between me and the other leads and stuff, in all the departments. They're just answering questions of stuff hey, what will characters look like in the game if they're playable or not playable, or stuff hey, I guess they're already working on visuals, already working on the visual language, or what kind of locations will we have, or what will building your deck look like outside of the game, and there's a whole bunch of stuff like that we're trying to figure out. And ideally, we're gonna try and make basically we will end the pre-production phase by actually finishing this vertical slice. It should be playable. We're going to be doing more play tests and stuff, ideally. And then once we have that vertical slice that we all agree on, then we go into full-on production. And I'll talk about that stuff later when we get to it. And let's see, besides that, just more Unity development, which I will try and show more of my work when I'm working on it in the server. Yeah, that's all for me.
Thank you, Nigel. Thank you. Huge. That's great. Yeah, anybody feel free to please stream what you're up to. Both Nigel and Blake have both been very forthcoming with their work. I need to do it more too, when we're co-working, just sharing my screen so that folks can see each other working. That's really big. And it also kind of gives us an opportunity to engage with one another more often. Who wants to go next? I will call on someone if no one wants to. That's totally fine.
Continue the circle because we'll zigzag down. Okie doke. I'm Blake. I originally got scouted out because I make Dungeons and Dragons dice. We went ahead and went through with that. I made a bunch of dice. They look cool. I dropped a link in the visuals channel of 300 photos of every single die I made, and they're all standardized and ready to go. I also do visual work. I made a bunch of the NFTs. If you control P in Notion and just search audio visual, you'll go ahead and see the loops I made there with the songs that go with them. Because I also do music. I went to music school and I dropped out because I suck at networking, and you go to music school to network. So that wasn't really working. And then I just made a bunch of side projects and I kept doing it. And if you need any help with working with what I make, please let me know. I know that my workflow is super esoteric and hard to figure out what I'm doing because I figured out how to do the things I do by breaking things, and that's inherently just awful to deal with. So I'm trying to get better at grouping my nodes so you know what they do and all that stuff. But yeah, if you need anything, I'm always happy to answer. I moved somewhere with a lot less noise, just so I could focus on things in my life.
Did you move there permanently?
No, it's 2 months for now, but I'll probably figure out what to do.
Good shit. Good shit. No, seriously, some of the best, most focused work I ever did was 7 months in Thailand in 2017. So I'm with you. Great. Love that. Thank you so much, Blake. Who wants to go next?
Thank you.
I can go next.
Hey.
Penelope, Penny, however you want to hack and slash my name, you can. There are awards for like the most amazing name you can come up with, because people are very original with it. I'm in the south of Portugal, which means I get like 360 days of sun, which I try to avoid at the maximum, because I am white as paper. I'm a software engineer. I kind of like to work with any type of language. So currently I got tricked by Mark into doing Go, which is what we're trying to build our Baybot with. Yeah, which is currently being a struggle for me, but also exciting at the same time, because I also never did bot development before, so I have absolutely no idea what I'm doing, but I'm trying my best. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. I have anxiety, which I deal with in the form of making Spotify playlists, or I collect dice. I actually just spend my time in websites being like, do I need this extra set of dice for my games? I do. So that's what I do. Yeah, that's it. And great to see all of you, lovely people, and excited to work maybe in some other areas as well, because sometimes Mark tries to trick me into, hey, are you interested in crypto? Might happen.
It's a good trick. It's a treat. Maybe it's a treat.
Yeah.
And I also need dice if you ask. So
Yes.
Yeah.
We can definitely get you dice. Blake's the dice guy.
I'll link it.
I'll be just like, hey, my anxiety today is like off the charts. I need some dice.
At least 5.
At least.
It's just a great feeling getting them rolling in your hand and just like throwing it out, you know?
Yeah.
Or when you're trying to be quiet and then the dice are metal and then just. But yeah, that's it for me. I also talk a lot if people let me, because I just keep it going.
Yeah, I'm with it.
I feel
So
like that's a universal experience for this team. Like, we all can just go if we really are allowed to.
Yeah, there's very few of us who don't chat like that.
It's a bullshitter syndrome. Also, you are able to bullshit to any situation.
Wow. Wow, drag me.
I mean, it's true.
It is what it is. It is what it is. All right, who we got next? Thank you so much, Penny.
Hey, I could talk a bit.
Let's do it.
I'll turn my camera on. Hello.
Hey, Robert.
I'm Robert, or Peen Poon is my artist alias. I am a 3D artist, digital media generalist, and I've been working with Beyond to kind of help lead the visual direction, kind of like a little bit of a visual project managing role, and then creating card art and other things, helping composite the aethers, making some decisions. And I will link the art that I worked on in visuals, and that's a link to the Figma page, and that's like most of the art that we've been working on for the past couple months. And yeah, if you have any questions about visual stuff, let me know. And visual stuff it's different than design stuff, so I'm more like doing the 3D art fantasy type of art, while Senya's doing the like design, UI, UX type of stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Bingo. Thank you. Love you, Robert.
I follow on from that because let me also turn my camera. I'm also on the visuals team, also a 3D artist, and doing all the same character work just with some of the other characters as Robert. And I like to keep it short and brief when I speak. So that's it.
That's it, Harriet.
That's it. I'm wondering what my camera's like.
Drops mic.
Yeah. Yes, please.
If we're gonna keep going, I'm on the visuals team as best I understand. The reason I say as best I understand is because technically I haven't done anything yet, but I do specialize in two-dimensional things. I'm very envious of those who do the 3D thing because it just looks so fantastic and lovely every time I see any sort of 3D rendered artwork. But maybe one day I'll branch out into that realm. But for now, my focus is in 2D, and I'll be working on the UI. It's what I do full time in general. So I've never worked on a game before. I've done some little projects in kind of like crypto casino online. Again, 2D, and the graphics were not all that robust. Pretty simple stuff, but it's going to be interesting to delve more into what menus and flows look like in the game realm, which is not something I'm super familiar with, but I'm very good at imitation. So a decent amount of studying should get me far.
Good artist copy, great artist steal. Thank you.
Go.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much, Kari. Go ahead, Joel.
Hey, my name is Joel, and I'm the lead of the Sonic team, which right now is me and Blake, and we sync up. My background is in music performance. I have an opera singing degree, and I've written musicals. I've written a couple shows that have gone off Broadway, and have found my way with COVID into a more technical virtual digital space because I've been stuck in my room for a year and a half and not with the people I'm used to being around. So I've built up some skills to be able to work with and through, especially Blake's actual expertise in music technology. I have enough to kind of be dangerous, and he kind of keeps me in bounds, and we work well together to create, compose, arrange, mix the sounds of this project. And I am a teacher mainly in my day-to-day life. I'm a music teacher. I do high school music during the day, and I do after-school music programs, a guy with a guitar kind of with kids in the afternoons. East Coast time, and generally Tuesdays are my Beyond days, and then Thursday before I head off to after school, and then, nights and weekends as well. I have a 10-month-old daughter, so my time is often spent with her and with my wife. So I do apologize in general if I don't get back to you right away, but yeah, Tuesdays, Thursday AMs in Eastern time, and then sporadically nights and weekends I'll be around.
Sick.
Joel's the raw talent, and I just sculpted a bit.
I think Joel and Blake are both very complementary sides to the same coin. Thank you so much for that, Joel. We also we did just lose John. John had to jet, so I'll give a little intro for John really quick. Joel and I kind of like met at the same time as John and I did. Joel and I met playing Magic the Gathering in Brooklyn, so I've known Joel since 2012. Joel and I have a very good relationship, very good rapport. Love Joel. John, very similar. John, I hired to be our CTO for my very first startup in 2012. So John and I have an excellent rapport. John worked for Only Equity for our very first startup, and John has been, we fell out of touch for a little while because I was kind of like not working in tech for a while. Whenever I'm not working actively building in tech, I fall back to video, host video, edit video, whatever, produce video. And John and I got back in touch around 2017 when I started deep diving back into crypto. And it turned out that he is perfectly positioned to be able to support us. Penny, he is available to help you with Go. Anybody on this team who needs help with Go, John is John ported Bitcoin into Go. John was on the team that ported Bitcoin into Go, BTC Suite, and turned it into Decred, which is what we are hoping that we will maybe eventually fork for our own network, while also ideally adding bolting an EVM style machine to the top of it. John is available to everyone on this team to learn about crypto shit. If you ever have a question about crypto stuff, please ping either the engineering room under our area, Team Beyond, which is not visible by the community, or if you have a more broad question, please ask in crypto or academia. Either one in the community section in the Discord. Please ask and mention John. Feel free to mention me as well. Mel is actually very well versed in the beginner side of crypto contexts. Mel has helped so many people on board onto crypto, and Mel has the same knack as a lot of us do of like being able to explain things in a way that's like very grokkable. So if you are looking to have conversations about crypto at a beginner level, Mel's a great place to be. And if you want to have conversations about an intermediate or expert level, John, Keeks, and I are the people on the team who are probably the most available and well-versed to answer your questions and help you really feel confident about what it is that we're building and why it's important. Moving on, who is next? So I just talked about John. For John, who are we missing? We haven't heard from Kane, Sanya, Johan, Kari, or Nikki.
I can go next.
Let's go.
So I've been on the Beyond team for a few years. I don't actually know what year it was. Maybe 3 years now. I live in London, so British summertime time zone for a bit until they turn clocks back in like a week, I think, and then I'll be back to GMT. Daylight saving is stupid. I don't get why they don't just do the whole planet at the same time.
Honestly,
no reason.
So silly.
Stupid. But so I've been on the visuals team, mostly again on the 2D side of things. I've been heavily involved in just going through a few editions of the branding by now, and I think we've got something that we can kind of run with. We've started applying it across a bunch of places now, and it feels more robust than ever, so I'm happy with that. We've got, so I've just been working on various versions of the website as well, and again, we've got a nicer more final version of that too. I've been working on some social stuff together at the same time. I keep the Figma pretty organized, so you should be able to find pretty much all of that within one file. The link for which is actually in the visuals channel pretty early up.
Yep.
Super excited to have Kari on the team, like super excited. I'll set something up where we can just run through, so I can just show you where everything is. And yeah, I like to keep it nice and short as well. So that's it.
Thank you, Sanya.
Excellent. Sounds good.
We did hear from Kari already.
I can go next. Good morning, LA time, everyone. Sorry, this computer I'm on, I don't have the camera.
It's all good.
Image in my face. Sorry, I was running a little bit late as well. Thank you so much for the lovely introduction, everybody, for giving me. Thank you so much, Nigel, Rose, and then Mel. Thank you so much. It's been with a lot of messages late at night. So, still trying to find my way around stuff. I have a few Notion things to catch up on, and hopefully, Nigel, Joel will be in touch, and then start talking about where to go from here. And also want to keep it short and concise. I do a lot of like 3D, 2D, UI, UX, jack of all trades, if you will. As I have some, not all. But yeah, if you have any questions, I will slow a little bit getting back to one. But thank you so much.
Thank you, Kane. So happy to have you. So excited to have you. So we're still missing Nikki, Johan, and Mel.
The usual suspects, it feels like sometimes. Okay, yeah, I'll go. I feel like Mark already kind of said a little bit about me for all of the things that I've been doing. Most of like what I'm going to be doing for the next 10 days, though, for my last 10 days, is just getting everything ready for Mel to take over, kind of figure out where all the stuff that I do is going to land. But like Mark said, my experience is mostly in like retail, like small business retail. I worked at dog daycares for like 7 years. That's what most of my experience is actually in, is working in doggy daycare. But like still doing a lot of the same types of stuff. Like I have a lot of experience like getting for lack of a better term, like helping people get their shit together. I like it. I like doing it. It's one of my favorite things. I love working with people. I love like how with the team leads that I scheduled with this last week to like revamp some of the area pages, like at the end of every call, everyone that I talked to was like, oh yeah, this is good. This is good. Like that feeling is kind of what I always like to go for, you know, like I love when I actually get to help someone. So vibes, that's me.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you so much for your hard work. We will miss you very deeply.
Yeah, I just wanted to add, Nikki's also a very great up-and-coming producer, games producer that we were working with together and stuff, so she really has a good knack for, like, organization. Like, every time Nikki has touched something in Notion, it's made infinitely more sense to me than when I first saw it.
Nikki has a very bright future.
Thanks, y'all.
We love you, Nikki. Johan and Mel, and then I think we can let everybody go unless there's anything else that somebody would want to bubble up.
You guys hear me okay?
Yeah, hear you great, bud. How you doing? You get some rest?
Yes, I did. I am a very sleepy person. Anyway, so this is the other usual suspect checking in. Just wanted to say hi to everybody. My name's Johan. I'm one of the writers on the team. Going to be mostly handling comms and a lot of the marketing content. I kind of build on top of Mel's very good method of bridging, new people from, regular walks of life over to crypto. I would probably say I'm like a mid-level in between Mel and the expertise that Keeks and Mark have when it comes to cryptocurrencies. So I'm still doing a lot of research, but I like to basically, talk out a lot of these ideas with people. So, of course, I'm also here if anybody has any questions that they want to go over, from anything, in Solana to anything within DeFi. I know we're going to be discussing a lot of things between some of the more like experienced crypto people that we have in the team. But yeah, beyond that, I guess like personal side, I love to read. I love learning about new different topics across different areas. But I primarily manage money. I like to make other people more money, and then I usually like to write about that process. That's kind of like a little breakdown of some of the stuff I like to do. But yeah, feel free to reach out to me about anything. I really need to meet more of the people in the team, and hopefully I won't be oversleeping through meetings. So that's a little stretch on me. Hope everybody has a good day.
Thank you, bud. Thank you, bud.
So I'm Melanie, aka Mel. I also share Nikki's dislike for talking about myself. So I guess in short, I work in comms and operations. And short, I guess the best way to describe me is like Johan described me this way, is like I'm the people's person in a way. Like, so I'm very good at interacting with other human beings. So any position I'm in that I can interact with humans, I tend to strive at. So yeah, I'm pretty open. So if y'all ever need help with anything or questions, just ask me. If I don't know, then I'll figure it out. I'm one of those people. So yeah.
Love that about you, Mel. Thank you so much. Is that everybody? Did we get everybody?
I think so.
I think so too. Thank you so much, y'all. I got to echo what Mel was saying there. This is something that is like part and parcel with how we work on this team. Like almost everyone on this team wears at least two hats, right? Is straddling two departments. Almost everyone on this team is a phenomenal learner and moreover, an effective learner in public, right? This is one of the things that for me is like a red flag when we're talking to people about joining the team, is if we have someone on this team, and this goes to what we said about the policies, right? Golden geese, right? If we have someone on this team who kind of thinks that like they are already past the point of learning new things, that to me, like that's just like such a massive red flag. There are contexts in which we know what we're doing and we want to help each other be in those contexts often and champion each other, but I think that the best way to do that, to champion each other, is to make spaces in which we feel vulnerable and safe enough to make mistakes and to learn that is a standard I hold myself to, right? Like I have made many mistakes in running this company and getting us to where we are now, and I really hope that sets an expectation and a precedent that like we are all silly, stupid meat sacks. So to the degree that you are concerned about making a mistake or about traditional workplace stressors, I would really love to do anything I can to mitigate that and insulate you from that, right? We are a remote team, which is very difficult to begin with. These all hands will help a lot more the more that we see each other's faces, hear each other's voices, and work with each other and support each other. But everyone's sentiments, like, all just fabulous, and I'm so grateful and humbled literally every single day that I look at stand-ups. When I look at, I've said this to Nigel in one-on-one calls before, I've been working on this for so long. It's really kind of surreal to be in a position in which I feel comfortable looking away for a day or two at a time. And that really is such a huge testament to all of you, what you are capable of, and how you have been working, not just like on your work, but with each other. It's really tough to like kind of like step back and delegate something that you've been so close to the metal on for literal years, right? We've only been working on Beyond for 3 years, but Beyond is actually an extension of our first startup in 2012. So I've been working on this in some capacity for the better part of a decade. And I cannot overstate how good it feels for it to be so easy to do that very hard thing. So that is like the biggest of props and praise to every single person on this team. I really cannot thank you enough for your hard work. I cannot overstate. I don't have the right words to say like how powerful it is, how much it means to me personally, and how much I hope it means to you, each other, that you show up for this project the way that you do. So thank you. Thank you all so much for being here. I think we got through everything in an hour and a half, which is remarkable. And if there's something else that anybody wants to cover, then we can get back to work. Thank you all so much. Inaugural all hands.
Aw, we love you too, Mark.
Thank you. This is really cute. Everyone's really great.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
I'm going to slide out real quick soon. I just want to say again, for anyone who hasn't played the card game, please ping me or Joel in the games channel. We'll set something up. I think it's really important that we all know what we are making. But besides that, you're all great. Glad to learn more about you.
Yeah, echoing that, and something I didn't say in my intro is I'm a huge game nerd. I've played Magic since Revised. I love Slay the Spire. So these kind of games, I, as a user, really enjoy. So if anyone wants to play these kind of games or talk about our game from just a player's perspective, I'm a game nut. I love it.
Spectacular. Thanks, everybody. We'll do a game night again really soon. We'll play some Magic. We'll play some other games. If you need me, you know where to find me. If you can't find me, Mel and Nikki know how.
You should make a game morning,
Oh yeah, we should. We should do like a Saturday morning game day.
So I can have an excuse to have like an afternoon snack. I'm just gonna go play some games.
Hell yeah. I'm ready. I'm with it. Sanya, these new designs look fantastic. I just saw your stand up. Okay. I'm going to get to work. I have copy to write. Me and Mel have copy to write for you, Sanya. We have all kinds of things to do for the rest of the day today. I will see you later this afternoon, Nikki. Thank you everybody so much. Genuinely, thank you so much. We're going to get some fucking generational wealth for every single person in this team. Let's go. Yes. Amazing. Okay, thanks everybody. See you soon.
Bye.
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 See you.